The sound of a ringing phone in the darkness of night is sometimes fate itself for Ibrahim Traoré. The call that came that night was a whisper that would take control of his life. The voice on the other end of the phone came from the grave. Someone who should have been long dead was speaking. "You know what time it is, Ibrahim," the voice said coldly. "I'm watching you from my grave." The words hung in the air, chilling Ibrahim to his core. The blood in his veins froze as he realized the gravity of the situation. A single phone call and a single sentence had already lit the fuse of a war that would change the fate of not just one, but 3 countries. As Ibrahim sat there, gripping the secure phone in his hand, he couldn't help but feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him. This wasn't just any call, it was a summons from the past, a ghost resurrected to haunt him. And yet, it wasn't entirely unexpected. For years, Ibrahim had lived with the knowledge of secrets buried deep within the shadows of his career, secrets that could unravel everything he had built. But this was something else entirely. The man on the other end claimed to be Marcel, Ibrahim's former partner, a man who had supposedly died 5 years ago during a border conflict. The details Marcel rattled off were too precise, too personal, to dismiss as a mere impersonation. Only someone who had walked alongside Ibrahim through those harrowing operations, the Black Diamond mission, the interrogation of 7 men in Bain, the burning of classified files, could possibly know such things. Yet, how is this possible? How could Marcel still be alive? Ibrahim's mind raced as he tried to reconcile what he was hearing with what he thought he knew. His thoughts spiraled back to that fateful day when Marcel had allegedly perished. He remembered carrying Marcel's lifeless body, feeling the absence of breath, seeing the bloodstains that told a grim story. Or so he had believed. Now, confronted by this inexplicable reality, doubts crept into his mind like tendrils of smoke curling through cracks in a wall. Could Marcel's death have been staged? If so, why? And more importantly, what did Marcel want now? The stakes were clear. Marcel wasn't calling out of nostalgia or camaraderie. This was about power, revenge, and perhaps even redemption or destruction on a scale Ibrahim struggled to comprehend. As Marcel revealed snippets of his plan, mentioning the red file, Ibrahim felt his stomach tighten further. The red file wasn't just another document, it represented a covert strategy designed to eliminate corrupt officials at the highest levels of government. It was a coup d'état blueprint, meticulously crafted but ultimately shelved due to concerns over civilian casualties. Or so Ibrahim had thought. But Marcel saw it differently. To him, the red file wasn't cancelled, it was postponed. Every step he described, the assassination of the defense minister, the ambush on the northern border post commander, the coordinated chaos spreading across the nation, was part of a larger scheme. A scheme that seemed to transcend individual grievances, aiming instead at reshaping the political landscape of an entire region. And Ibrahim? He was caught squarely in the crosshairs, whether he liked it or not. What made this situation particularly perilous was the fact that no one outside their tight-knit circle of conspirators knew about the existence of the red file. Its resurgence would inevitably cast suspicion on Ibrahim, painting him as either a co-conspirator or a traitor. Either way, his freedom, and possibly his life, was at risk. Yet, despite the mounting tension, Ibrahim couldn't shake the sense that there was more to this than met the eye. Was Marcel truly orchestrating this alone, or was he merely a pawn in someone else's game? To complicate matters further, Marcel's tone carried an undercurrent of bitterness, as if years of betrayal and abandonment had festered into something darker. He accused Ibrahim of abandoning their shared cause, of turning his back on the ideals they once fought for. "You promised," Marcel spat venomously. "You said we needed to cleanse the country. You said we'd make them pay for their corruption." These accusations stung because, in part, they rang true. Ibrahim had indeed distanced himself from those radical plans, opting instead for a safer path within the military hierarchy. But did that make him complicit in the very corruption he once sought to dismantle? As the conversation unfolded, Ibrahim realized that Marcel's return wasn't just a personal vendetta, it was a calculated move designed to force Ibrahim's hand. By implicating him in the Red File's resurrection, Marcel ensured that Ibrahim had no choice but to play along, at least temporarily. The alternative, resistance or refusal, would likely result in exposure and elimination. For now, survival demanded compliance, however reluctant. And so, as the first rays of dawn began to pierce the horizon, Ibrahim found himself teetering on the edge of a precipice. On one side lay the familiar world of order and authority, where rank and protocol dictated action. On the other side stretched a chaotic abyss, where loyalty and morality blurred into shades of gray. Whatever decision he made next would irrevocably alter the course of his life, and perhaps the destiny of nations. With trembling hands, Ibrahim prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He armed himself, donned civilian clothes, and stepped out into the unknown, acutely aware that every move he made from this point forward would be scrutinized, analyzed, and potentially weaponized against him. Little did he know, however, that the journey awaiting him was far more treacherous than he could have imagined. At 8 a.m., as instructed, Ibrahim turned on the television. Breaking news flashed across the screen: the defense minister's convoy had been ambushed, leaving the minister critically injured. His phone rang almost simultaneously. It was Marcel again, smug and calculating. "Starting to believe now?" Marcel taunted. "Next target, 2 p.m., the commander of the northern border post. The plan is proceeding exactly as you remember it. Either you join us, or you're also on the list." Ibrahim's desperation grew palpable. "Why are you doing this?" he pleaded, his voice trembling. Marcel's response was bitter and biting. "Because you didn't finish what we started. You promised, Ibrahim. Remember? You said we'd cleanse this country. You said we'd make them pay for their betrayal. Then suddenly, you forgot everything and sat in their lap." Ibrahim protested, trying to reason with his former partner. "You misunderstand," but Marcel cut him off, his voice colder than ever. "Misunderstand? Don't insult me. The second target will fall at 2 p.m. Then we'll talk again. Oh, and by the way, they can't trace your location from this phone. It's a special frequency, like in the old days. Remember? Don't bother hiding." The line went dead. By 2 p.m., Ibrahim had taken refuge in a secret apartment he kept for emergencies. He kept the television on, waiting anxiously for updates. Sure enough, the news came in: an attack had been carried out on the northern border post, and the commander had been assassinated. Before he could process the enormity of what was happening, his phone rang again. This time, Ibrahim answered immediately. Marcel's voice was laced with mockery. "You're taking me seriously now, aren't you? Good. Listen carefully. I want to meet you face to face. In the village where the Black Diamond operation took place. Next to that small mosque. Be there in 3 hours. Come alone." Suspicion gnawed at Ibrahim. "This could be a trap," he countered. "I saw you die 5 years ago. I carried your lifeless body myself." Marcel laughed menacingly. "Some deaths aren't real, just like some loyalties. 3 hours, Ibrahim. And believe me, if anyone is going to die this time, it will be you." As Ibrahim headed toward the designated village, he encountered a military checkpoint on the road. Soldiers were stopping everyone and checking IDs. Under normal circumstances, Ibrahim's rank would have exempted him from scrutiny, but he was in civilian clothes now, blending in with the crowd. When the young lieutenant at the checkpoint examined Ibrahim's ID, his eyes widened in recognition. "General Traoré," he exclaimed, saluting sharply. "We weren't expecting you here, sir." Ibrahim responded briefly, "Special mission. No one should know." The lieutenant hesitated visibly. "I understand, sir, but there's a search order for you." Ibrahim's stomach tightened. "What kind of order?" The lieutenant explained, "You've been ordered to be brought to central headquarters for questioning. There are some questions regarding the assassination of the defense minister." Ibrahim needed to think fast. This must be part of Marcel's plan. If he were caught now, everything would end before it truly began. Adopting a serious tone, he commanded, "Lieutenant, I'm on a very secret operation. You need to let me go. This is a matter of national security." The lieutenant hesitated, torn between duty and obedience to a superior officer. Just then, Ibrahim's phone rang. Unknown number on the screen again. Stepping aside, he answered tersely. "I need to answer this." Marcel's voice came through, calm and confident. "Is there a problem?" Ibrahim replied tensely, "They are looking for me." "This must be your doing." Marcel confirmed smoothly, "Of course it's my doing. I planned every move ahead. Now, give your phone to the lieutenant. They want to speak with you." Hesitating for only a moment, Ibrahim handed the phone over. "They want to speak with you," he told the lieutenant. The young man listened intently, his face turning white, eyes widening in shock. Returning the phone to Ibrahim, he stammered, "You may pass, sir." This conversation never happened. Putting the phone back to his ear, Ibrahim demanded, "What did you say to him?" Marcel chuckled cheerfully. "Just the truth. If he detained you, his family's village would be wiped off the map." Good motivation, isn't it? Ibrahim recoiled in disgust. This isn't Marcel's style. "Who are you really?" Marcel simply directed, "Continue on your way. We'll meet at the mosque." When Ibrahim arrived at the village, he carefully examined the surroundings. The place seemed almost deserted, with only a few elderly women sitting in front of their houses. The mosque stood modestly in the village square, its door wide open. Ibrahim readied his weapon and approached cautiously. Inside, the mosque was empty, save for old mats and a map. Suddenly, a voice commanded, "Put your gun down, Ibrahim." Turning around, Ibrahim faced Marcel, or rather, the man claiming to be Marcel. The figure before him bore a striking resemblance to his former partner, though marred by a horrific burn scar on the right side of his face and limping slightly on his left leg. Ibrahim whispered in disbelief, "Marcel? Is it really you?" Marcel pointed his gun at Ibrahim, confirming, "Flesh and blood, I said put your gun down." Reluctantly, Ibrahim obeyed, lowering his weapon. Marcel regarded him with bitter satisfaction. "That day, you really thought I died, didn't you? But I was only severely injured. Villagers found me, nursed me back to health. I didn't come back because I needed to be dead, to continue our plan." Confusion clouded Ibrahim's expression. "What plan, Marcel?" "We cancelled the red file. There would have been civilian casualties. Don't you remember?" Marcel gave a bitter laugh. "You cancelled it, Ibrahim. You cancelled it." I continued. "And now, everything is ready. Ministers, generals, all will be cleaned out. The country will be reborn." Shaking his head in horror, Ibrahim protested, "This is genocide, Marcel. Not a military coup." Marcel's voice turned icy. "So be it. Sometimes, to heal, you first need to cut off the gangrenous limb." Pulling a small radio from his pocket, Marcel declared, "Now, I'm going to offer you a choice. Either you join me, or..." He paused dramatically as explosion sounds echoed from outside the mosque. Startled, Ibrahim asked, "What was that?" Marcel smiled triumphantly. "The war has begun, my friend. Rebels have moved on the northern border. Government forces were caught unprepared. They're advancing toward the capital right now." Ibrahim was shocked. "Are you supporting the rebels?" Marcel declared proudly, "I am the leader of the rebels. I've been training them for the past 5 years. They're all loyal to me. And at this stage of our plan, we need to create chaos." Realizing the depth of Marcel's ambition, Ibrahim understood that this wasn't just a coup, it was a complete regime change. Handing Ibrahim a new phone, Marcel instructed, "Your phone is being monitored now. Take this. It only knows my number. I'll call you regularly and give you instructions." Angry and incredulous, Ibrahim snapped, "Do you think I'm going to help you?" Marcel smirked coldly. "Help? No. You'll just watch. Then you'll be ready for your final task, at the predetermined time and place." Ibrahim demanded, "What task?" Marcel stated in a chilling voice, "The assassination of the president. This will be your task. Final move." With that ominous declaration hanging in the air, Ibrahim moved away from the capital, avoiding main roads as he headed north through rural areas. He didn't trust Marcel, but for now, he had to play along with his twisted game. As the sun set, he took refuge in an abandoned-looking farmhouse in a small town. Turning on the television, he watched the news unfold. Clashes had intensified on the northern border, the defense minister had succumbed to his injuries, and protest demonstrations had erupted in the capital streets. The phone given by Marcel rang. Answering reluctantly, Ibrahim heard Marcel ask casually, "Are you watching the news?" Horrified, Ibrahim responded, "This is madness. Thousands of innocent people will die." Marcel retorted cynically, "Innocent? Is there anyone innocent left in this country? Corruption, embezzlement, hunger, for the past 10 years, people are already dying, just slowly. We're just accelerating the process." Desperate, Ibrahim pleaded, "What do you want from me?" Marcel commanded firmly, "For now, just wait. Tomorrow morning, at exactly 9 a.m., I'll call you again. You will have an important task." The line went dead. Pacing the room with the phone clutched tightly, Ibrahim wrestled with how to stop Marcel. He could use his old intelligence connections, but right now, everyone saw him as a suspect. At midnight, the phone rang again. Quickly answering, Ibrahim was surprised to hear a woman's voice. "General Traoré, you don't know me, but I want to help you." Suspicious, Ibrahim demanded, "Who are you? How did you find this number?" The woman introduced herself. "My name is Aisha Chidayalo. I am a communication analyst at Central Intelligence. I was tracking Marcel Edrago's phone conversations. I heard your conversation." Ibrahim frowned, wary of another trap. Aisha reassured him, "If it were a trap, we would have already surrounded the farmhouse where you are now." "I believe you, General. I believe you weren't aware of Marcel's plan." Contemplating her words, Ibrahim asked, "Why are you helping me?" Aisha explained urgently, "Because Marcel is insane. His plan isn't just to overthrow the government but to fragment the country. He made a deal with an international arms trafficking network. He promised them our lands and mines." Cautious but intrigued, Ibrahim pressed, "Do you have proof?" Aisha replied confidently, "Yes. Tomorrow morning, he'll call you. He'll give you a meeting point. Don't go there. Instead, come to the old radio station east of the capital. I'll show you everything." With that, the phone disconnected. Left in a dilemma, Ibrahim didn't know whom to trust. Was Marcel telling the truth, or was this mysterious woman genuinely trying to help? At 9 a.m., Marcel's phone rang. Cheery as ever, Marcel greeted, "Good morning, Ibrahim. How's the news?" Reluctantly, Ibrahim responded, "Everything seems to be going as you planned." Pleased, Marcel continued, "Excellent. Now, I'm going to direct you somewhere. There's an old military base east of the capital. You will go there. A man will meet you and give you a package." Ibrahim's heart raced. The location Aisha mentioned was east of the capital, but a radio station, not a military base. Probing cautiously, he asked, "What's in the package?" Marcel dismissed his concern. "Don't worry. Just take it and wait. I'll call again for the next instructions." As the line cut off, Ibrahim faced a critical decision. Would he go to the military base as Marcel instructed, or to the radio station as Aisha suggested? Taking a calculated risk, he decided to trust Aisha and head to the radio station. The abandoned building stood eerily quiet, remnants of propaganda broadcasts echoing faintly in the dusty air. Entering cautiously, Ibrahim found Aisha in a small room filled with computers. She greeted him with relief, "You came. I almost thought you'd be late." Informing her that Marcel had directed him to the military base, Aisha nodded knowingly. "I know. That's a trap. They were going to kill you." Turning her computer screen toward him, she revealed recordings of Marcel's phone conversations, not just with Ibrahim, but with foreign agents discussing transfers of large sums of money and weapons. Aisha was right. Marcel's plan extended far beyond domestic upheaval. It involved selling out his own country to foreign interests. Focused and determined, Ibrahim asked, "What do we do now?" Aisha proposed confidently, "We need to beat Marcel at his own game. Using his phone, we can mimic his calls using special software. We can make calls appear as if they're coming from Marcel while actually making them ourselves." Excitedly, Aisha suggested, "We can give false instructions to Marcel's men, misdirecting them. We can send them to the wrong places while informing government forces of the real locations." Concerned, Ibrahim inquired, "What if Marcel calls me again?" Aisha admitted, "We can block Marcel's call, but not forever. We need to buy time." Studying the map on the screen, Aisha pointed out the rebel forces' movements. They were advancing on 3 fronts, aiming to surround the capital. Secret cells within the city were preparing to attack key points, ministries, the television station, military headquarters. It was a classic coup strategy. Realization dawned on Ibrahim. "And while all this is happening, I'm supposed to kill the president, right? Marcel is saving me for the final move." Aisha confirmed grimly, "Exactly. You'll be the assassin. Then you'll be declared a traitor. Marcel will present himself as the savior." Standing up decisively, Ibrahim declared, "Then let's not waste time. How can we mislead Marcel's men?" Together, they devised a plan. Using Aisha's technology, they sent false messages to Marcel's operatives, directing them to incorrect locations. Simultaneously, Aisha relayed accurate information to trusted intelligence contacts within the government. By afternoon, Marcel's phone rang. Hesitantly, Ibrahim answered. Suspiciously, Marcel asked, "Did you get the package?" Looking at Aisha, who nodded encouragingly, Ibrahim responded, trying to sound relaxed, "Yes, I got it." Testing him, Marcel probed, "Good. What's in it?" Ibrahim froze momentarily, realizing Marcel was setting a trap. Guessing cautiously, he replied, "A gun and a magazine, I guess. And a map." Silence lingered on the other end as Marcel considered Ibrahim's response. Finally, he decided, "Good. Let's meet at the cafe near the presidential palace tomorrow morning." Cutting off the call, Ibrahim and Aisha worked tirelessly through the night, sending fake messages to mislead Marcel's men. Some groups of rebels were directed to wrong locations, while others received fabricated orders. Meanwhile, Aisha relayed genuine intel to her trusted intelligence allies. By morning, the capital had transformed into a battlefield. Some rebels had infiltrated the city, and clashes erupted sporadically. However, government forces were better prepared, having been forewarned. With 2 hours remaining before meeting Marcel, Aisha implored urgently, "Listen to me, Ibrahim. Marcel will kill you. Don't go there." Determined, Ibrahim responded, "I have to go. We have no other choice. Only I can stop Marcel." Suggesting protection, Aisha offered, "At least let us send soldiers to guard you." Shaking his head firmly, Ibrahim refused. "If Marcel sees soldiers, he'll disappear. I'm the only person who can approach him." Heading to the cafe, Ibrahim navigated through streets teeming with chaos. People ran frantically, explosions reverberated in the distance. Arriving at the cafe, he noticed that Marcel wasn't there yet. Taking a seat at one of the back tables, he waited anxiously. At exactly 10 a.m., the door opened, and Marcel entered, but he wasn't alone. 2 armed men accompanied him as they advanced toward Ibrahim's table. Confronting him angrily, Marcel demanded, "What happened, Ibrahim? My phone conversations were cut off. Are you trying to block me?" Standing up resolutely, Ibrahim countered, "Marcel, you must stop all this." Mockingly, Marcel laughed. "Stop? We're just beginning. My rebels are about to surround the palace. They're waiting for you to go and kill the president. Since you've given up on that task, I'll do it myself." Reaching for his weapon, Ibrahim froze as Marcel's men drew their guns faster. Raising his hand to halt them, Marcel sneered, "Calm down. I'll handle him." Disgusted, Ibrahim accused, "What have you done, Marcel? You're selling our country to foreigners. I wouldn't have expected this from you." Enraged, Marcel shot back, "You made me this way. You left me to die. Remember when the villagers saved me? My only thought was the stupidity of having believed in you. It was convenient for you to think I was dead, wasn't it? You canceled the red file and continued your nice career." Pulling out his gun, Marcel challenged, "I chose my own path. Now you make your choice." Before Marcel could act, the cafe's windows shattered, and soldiers poured in. These were the special forces Ibrahim had informed through Aisha. Surprised, Marcel glared at Ibrahim angrily. "You," he started, but before he could finish, gunfire erupted. Marcel's men fell, and he fled through the back door. Pursuing him, Ibrahim exited into the narrow street behind the cafe. Pointing their guns at each other, Marcel laughed triumphantly. "Everything you've done is in vain. The rebels have already attacked the presidential palace. We disabled their electronic systems. Communication lines are cut. The palace guards have surrendered. The country is ours." Smiling confidently, Ibrahim revealed, "I have a surprise for you too, Marcel. That palace is empty. I removed the president from the city last night. He's safe." Marcel's face paled in disbelief. "You're lying." Calmly, Ibrahim explained, "Thanks to Aisha, we learned all your plans. You've fallen into a trap, Marcel." Infuriated, Marcel shouted, raising his gun. But Ibrahim acted faster, pulling the trigger. Marcel collapsed, clutching his chest. Approaching slowly, Ibrahim bent down to look into his old friend's eyes. Softly, he confessed, "Marcel, when we canceled the plan, I never abandoned you to death. I knew you were injured, but the doctors said they couldn't save you. The villagers who saved you were men we secretly sent. We wanted everyone to think you died to protect you. Someone had learned about our plan. I was going to tell you, but you disappeared. As Marcel lay writhing in pain, Ibrahim lowered his gun. Most of the rebels had been captured. Hanging up the phone, Ibrahim looked at Marcel. You've lost, Marcel. The president is safe. Soldiers are capturing the rebels. We have the names of your foreign supporters. Marcel's face froze in shock. How? He managed to gasp. Thanks to Aisha, we learned all your plans. As a communication expert, she was monitoring your phones. You've fallen into a trap. Shouting in anger, Marcel attempted to raise his gun again, but lacked the strength. Bending down, Ibrahim gazed at his old friend's face. I want to ask you something, Marcel. Did you really do this to fix the country, or just for revenge? Tears welled up in Marcel's eyes as he whispered, at first, it was for the country. But then, everything changed. They came and made me offers. I accepted. Ibrahim pressed, who are they, Marcel? But before Marcel could answer, his eyes closed. Sirens wailed in the distance as soldiers surrounded the street. Standing up, Ibrahim saw that Marcel had lost consciousness. Calling for medical assistance, he instructed the soldiers to summon an ambulance. 3 days later, Ibrahim sat in a meeting at headquarters. Marcel was seriously injured but alive. Thanks to his testimony, international arms traffickers and foreign agents operating within the country had been identified. Approaching Ibrahim, the president expressed gratitude. You saved our country, General Traoré. We can't know how much we owe you. Modestly, Ibrahim shook his head. I just did my duty, sir. However, there's truth in what Marcel said. Our country is corrupt. It needs to change. Taking a deep breath, the president agreed. You're right, Ibrahim. The time for change has come. Our people are struggling with hunger and poverty. We need to fix this. Entering the meeting room, Aisha delivered somber news. We learned this morning that Marcel died in the prison hospital. He had a heart attack before giving more names. Approaching the window, Ibrahim looked out at the city. Life in the capital was beginning to return to normal. But Marcel's secret connections remained a mystery. Coming to stand beside him, Aisha handed Ibrahim a new phone. As the intelligence unit, we've prepared a new secure line for you. No one will be able to monitor you anymore. Accepting the phone, Ibrahim pocketed it thoughtfully. This isn't over, is it? He murmured. Aisha replied gravely, it's just beginning, General. As Ibrahim left the room, his phone vibrated. An unknown number appeared on the screen. Pausing for a moment, he hesitated. Then, without answering, he slipped the phone back into his pocket and continued walking, acutely aware that the battle for his nation's future was far from finished.